everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Noble Crumb. My name is Jason. So today the recipe what we're going to be doing is doing probably one of my favorite flavor combinations, which is sweet and salty. And we're going to be making a caramel salted nut bar. Fair warning with this recipe, it is super easy, super quick. Everybody that you're going to let try these is probably going to fall in love with them if you don't end up eating the whole pan yourself. So let's get to it. Here's the ingredients that you'll need.
So here are the ingredients for the caramel salted nut bars. 3 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 cups of brown sugar, either light or dark, 1 cup of unsalted butter, 3 to 4 cups of salted nuts of your choice, 3/4 cup of corn syrup, 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1.5 teaspoons of water, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 package of butterscotch chips, and we're going to bake it at 350.
Okay, so I've got my mixing bowl here, and we're going to throw this crust together, which will probably be one of the quickest crusts for a recipe you'll ever make. So in my bowl, I'm going to add 3 cups of flour. Get that all in there. And then I've got 1.5 cups of brown sugar. Today I'm using light brown sugar. You can use dark, whatever works. That's just what I had on hand. And I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. And then I've got 1 cup of butter that I have melted down, and we're just going to pour that in there. And literally, that's it for the crust. So I'm just going to take a fork and start mixing this around so that it's all combined. And more than likely, I will probably start using my hands because it just makes things a lot easier, especially to break up those lumps of brown sugar in there. But just like this, it'll help start and get everything started and combined. So at this point, I'm going to move on. My hands are nicely cleaned and washed, and we're just going to start crumbling this together, and it's going to get to the consistency of sand. You see any lumps of brown sugar, you can just simply break those up. But this is so nice. This is basically just like a quick version of like a shortbread for a crust. And about as simple as that, this is mixed together and done. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to press this into our tray. So I've got a vintage 9x13 Pyrex pan here that I'm going to use. So I've just got some parchment paper that I've sprayed with some cooking spray, and I'm just going to dump this in. Just like that. And then I'm just going to press this down into the pan. Make sure I'm getting all the edges. And making it as even as I possibly can. And I am pressing this down quite firmly. And for the crust, now that it's pressed in there, we're going to pop this in a 350-degree oven for about 10 to 12 minutes, probably 12 minutes. And we're going to bake this, and then while this is baking, we're going to move on to the caramel layer. Okay, so for the caramel topping, I've got my medium-sized saucepan here, and again, super quick, super simple. I'm going to add to it 3/4 cup of corn syrup. You can use light, dark, whatever you have. Today I'm using dark. I usually prefer to use dark for most stuff. I just find I like the flavor a lot better. So we're going to scrape all that in to the pan. And then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. Get all that in there. And then I've got 1.5 teaspoons of water and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Throw that in there. And we're going to use 1 full package of butterscotch chips and just dump that in there. So now you're going to put this over a medium heat Stirring it constantly because again, this will be really liable to burn quite easily. When it comes to a boil, we're gonna let it boil for 2 minutes and then we're gonna take it off of the heat. So this will just take a little bit of time to melt down and we'll go and check on our crust. Okay, so it has been 12 minutes and my crust is looking really good. I can see it coloring a little bit around the edges, so I think this is time to take it out. So it's only been a couple minutes and you can see everything is melted down really quickly here. So I'm just making sure that I'm constantly stirring it, scraping the bottom, because again, I don't want that sugar to burn. It can burn quite quickly. And again, medium heat, can't stress that enough. I don't want you to have to deal with the mess of having burnt sugar or having it set off your smoke alarms in your house or apartment like I'm in. Okay, so you can see now that my caramel filling is just starting to boil around the edges here. So we're gonna time this now for about 2 minutes and then we're gonna take it off of the heat. But keep stirring it because again, it will be liable to burn. So 2 minutes more. All right, that's been 2 minutes. That is done and I'm taking it off of the heat. Okay, so here is our crust right out of the oven. So it's been 12 minutes. Now the next step is we're gonna put the nuts on top of this. So you can use whatever kind you want. I'm just using a brand here of mixed nuts. It's about 350 grams. So you want about 3 to 4 cups and literally you're just gonna sprinkle them all on top of your crust. Make sure you get the salted kind because that's where the salt comes from, because I didn't add any extra to our caramel topping. All right, and yeah, be quite liberal with the nuts. Perfect. So now at this point, we're gonna get our caramel topping and we're gonna put it right on top. So here's our caramel topping that we made, and you're literally gonna pour it right over top of the entire thing. Could not be any simpler, hey? Right, just gonna make sure I scrape down the pan here. I don't want to leave any of that caramel filling in there. Right, almost there. Making sure it's going to the edge. With my spatula, just kind of give it a little spread around. Make sure it gets covered on everything. All right. Okay, so that looks fantastic. So now we're going to return this to the oven, 350, and we're going to leave it in there for about 7 to 8 minutes, okay? So now a warning.
Now a warning?
As soon as you're done making your caramel topping, please make sure you wash out your pan right away. You don't want to be stuck with hardened caramelized sugar in a pan. Scraping it off can be a nightmare. So please wash your pan as soon as you're done making the topping. Okay, so it's been 8 minutes in the oven. The caramel is nice and bubbly. Everything's come together really nice. So now at this point, you're just going to let these cool completely at room temperature. So it's going to take a little while because hot sugar takes a while to cool down. Cool them down, and then we're going to slice them up. But that was so quick, so easy. You are absolutely going to love these bars, and everyone you get to try them is going to go crazy for them, trust me. Okay, so the bars have had a chance to cool at room temperature, and then I put them in the fridge for a couple of hours. So they're set up really good. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to cut them up and show you what they look like.
So because we use the parchment paper, they come out really easy. I'll move that over. And hold down the sides. And let's try cutting. So I got my big chef's knife. It's going through really nice. The caramel is going to have nice chewiness to it. I'm going to make this look presentable and cut proper size squares, but believe me, I pretty much eat them a lot bigger than this. And let's take a look here. All right, so you can see now we have a nice shortbread layer and our nice caramel and nuts. So I really hope you guys get a chance to try out this recipe. As you can see when we made it, it happened super quick. Really simple ingredients, does not take any time, and the taste of these is absolutely amazing. You probably won't be able to stop yourself from eating the whole tray. So fair warning, like I said before, and let me know what you guys think.
And that's all it takes to make the salted caramel nut bar. I really hope you guys enjoyed making them. I really hope we get to give them a chance. Thank you again for joining me on the Noble Crumb, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good day. Bye.